Hey everybody, it's Christine up today with a new Bella Boulevard layout showcasing a combination of their cut files alongside the Bella Besties. Now, this beautiful cut file that you see in the background, that's the white lacy look, is their tile background, which is a pattern paper style in their Home Sweet Home collection. And it is extremely detailed to cut out and will definitely take a little time, but holy moly, when it's done, it is gorgeous. And so what you can see right now is that I've cut that out, and then I am using a circle punch to punch out a whole bunch of fall colors to add to back the cut file. So basically what I did is I just cut it to the size I wanted it. And then I figured, okay, I'll figure out a circle that'll work. Or if I needed to, I could have cut out a whole bunch of circles on my cutting machine. But this one for me, the 1 1/4 inch circle worked. So I just rolled with that with my punch. I opted for lots of fall colors. I wanted to make a good fall themed layout. And I didn't have any of their fall collections, so I knew that I could make it work with the Bella Besties. So I've got those punched out. What I'm going to do now is just start adding them to the back, and this is a refillable glue pen. It is a fine tipped one, and I just put my glue of choice into it, which the glue I had on hand was from Home and Hobby from Scrapbook Adhesives by 3L. And so I just transferred the liquid glue from their container into this because it's a super teeny tiny metal syringe-like top. And so it works really great for things like this, just getting a little bit on there. And then I'm going to just go ahead and add those on. Now, it does have I think it's the wedding ring, quilt ring, I'm spacing the exact name, but the quilt style where the circles overlap. Look, I'm not going to worry too much about them overlapping just right. I'm basically just going to get them on there. What I am trying to pay attention to is getting them on there in a mix. So like right there, you see I've got all 5 of the color choices all worked around, and I'm going to use that as my start point and just work from there. Now, it didn't work perfectly to get them all evenly balanced. But number one, you can't tell when you look at the layout. I mean, seriously, you have to be super picky to find it. Number two, with the white of the cut file in between, you really couldn't even, it doesn't stand out at all that they're right next to each other. So, I kind of took comfort in that as I went, where I had times and I was like, oh shoot, I have to put a red one right next to a red one again. But then I'd flip it over. I'm like, oh yeah, it really doesn't matter. Just the nature of the cut file made it that way. Now, as you're looking at this cut file, you can see close up how detailed it is. I will tell you, it took me over 30 minutes for it to cut. So it's the kind of thing where you set it on your machine to cut, and then you need to just walk away and let it work. I don't have any great ideas for you on how to mimic this if you don't have a cutting machine, other than to just buy one of these kinds of overlays. I do know a lot of companies have them available. And in fact, Bella Boulevard with their new Christmas line is going to have cut file pieces available within it. So that's going to be a great option for those of you without it. Unfortunately, today I just don't have a great idea for you specifically on how to do this specific one without a cutting machine. Carrying on, you can see I've got it all backed now. I wasn't going to make you sit there and watch that forever. That was definitely between the cutting and the backing. That was a long, tedious process, but worth it. I think it's really worth it once you see how beautiful it is. Now I'm adding some 3D adhesive tape because I want it to pop up a little bit. And you can see that I left the edges of the cut file open to just add a little bit of interest to the whole thing and make it pull in that brown. I liked the way it looked without having something along the edges. Almost gives it a lacy look. Now, because I've got such a very, very, very busy background going on, I am going to keep my embellishing and my titles, or my title, my work on that and my product on that to a minimum. I don't want to distract from the beauty of the cut file. I just spent a couple hours making that. I don't want to lose that. Also, I don't want it to take away from the picture. So I am going to use some vellum, which is not a product that you see people using a ton of anymore, but every once in a while it has just the right touch. And this was one of those cases. As you can see, I'm punching out these big leaves with it, and they are allowing the cut file to show through a little bit. You can see they've got that really pretty shimmer to them, and so I'm just letting those be a subtle added detail. I also think they complement the delicateness of the cut file itself because it's kind of got a delicate touch to it, and so I like the way that they complement it. So I'm going to add my picture on there. I'm just going to tuck some white cardstock behind it to make it pop a little bit more. I'm going to add on a title using a Florence Alpha and an acrylic word, and so it'll say Fall Play. I thought about it having it say Play Fall, like playful, but it didn't really feel like the kind of layout that needed a punny title on it, if you know what I mean. It didn't have like that whimsical touch to it, so it just felt like that would be too much. I don't know. So anyways, I added those. I added on a little tab. You can see I'm taking my vellum leaves now, and I am just folding them at the places where you would see the vein lines on a leaf. And what that's going to do is, again, just add a little bit of extra texture and delicateness to the whole layout. My final touch is going to be to add on some heart hugs that are red and complement the picture well. And then finally, I'm going to just add some journaling, but I'm going to actually type that up and add that on in a little bit here. So there you have it, a pretty straightforward fall layout, made a fall layout because of the color choices, not necessarily the product involved, and making it work with what supplies you have on hand. You know, fall has a lot of colors to it, and so you can make it work fantastic with whatever you've got on hand. Thank you so much for being here today. I will see you again actually tomorrow with another video featuring the scrap room kit this month.